Cry of Katipunan, Bar Lintar Wak, Mar Sang Kayakant Baido Roteo, Har Gayon, Convo Ka, Lao Lao, Ju Nisan, Alfie Che. Introduction. The first cry depicts the eagerness of the Filipinos to achieve the freedom they seek. Let's see what happened during the event. According to Mar Sang K's account, on August 26th, a large gathering was held at the home of Apollonio Samson. Along with Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto and many others who led the group for the planning. Andres Bonifacio gathered everyone to discuss the action they will take, with the help of Emilio Jacinto as secretary.
The author of the Cry of Balintawak, August 26, 1896, is Guillermo Masange. Guillermo Masange was born on June 25, 1867 at Tondo, Caviteño, and he is Bonifacio's childhood friend. Given a mission to initiate members in Cavite and assisted in holding the first Labor Congress on May 1, 1913. Responsible for the erection of Bonifacio Monument in Caloocan City, died on May 31, 1963 at the age 96. On August 26, a big meeting was held in Balintawak at the house of Apollonio Samson, then cabeza of that barrio of Caloocan. Among those who attended, I remember, were Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, Aguedo del Rosario, Tomas Remigio, Bricio Pantas, Teodoro Plata, Pio Valenzuela, Enrique Pacheco, and Francisco Carrion. They were all leaders of the Katipunan and composed the board of directors of the organization. Delegates from Bulacan, Cabanatuan, Cavite, and Morong were also present. At about 9 o'clock in the morning of 26th, the meeting was opened with Andres Bonifacio presiding and Emilio Jacinto acting as secretary. The purpose was to discuss when the uprising was to take place. Teodoro Plata, Bricio Pantas, and Pio Valenzuela were all opposed to starting the revolution. Too early. Andres Bonifacio, sensing that he would lose the discussion then, left the session hall and talked to the people, who were waiting outside for the result of the meeting of the leaders. He told the people that the leaders were arguing against starting the revolution early, and appealed to them in a fiery speech in which he said, "You remember the fate of our countrymen who were shot in Bagumbayan. Should we return now to the towns, the Spaniards will only shoot us. Our organization has been discovered and we are all marked men. If we don't start the uprising, the Spaniards will get us anyway. What then, do you say? Revolt." The people shouted as one. Bonifacio then asked the people to give a pledge that they were to revolt. He told them that the sign of slavery of the Filipinos were, sick, the settle tax charged each citizen. If it is true that you are ready to revolt, I want to see you destroy your settlers. It will be a sign that all of us have declared our severance from the Spaniards. The Cry of Balintawak occurred on August 26, 1896. The cry, defined as that turning point when the Filipinos finally refused Spanish colonial dominion over the Philippine island. With tears in their eyes, the people as one man pulled out their settlers and tore them into pieces. It was the beginning of the formal declaration of the separation from Spanish rule. Long live the Philippine Republic, the cry of the people. An article from the Sunday Tribune magazine on August 21, 1932 featured the statements of the eyewitness account by Katipunan General Guillermo Masange, a Katipunero speaks. Masange recounts the Cry of Balintawak, stating that on August 26, 1896, a big meeting was held in Balintawak at the house of Apollonio Samson, then the cabeza of that barrio of Caloocan. At about 9 o'clock in the morning of August 26th, the meeting was opened with Andres Bonifacio presiding and Emilio Jacinto acting as secretary. In August 1896, after the Katipunan was discovered, Masange joined Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, and others in a clandestine meeting held on the 26th of that month at Apollonio Samson's house in Caloocan. The leaders of the movement quarreled over strategy and tactics, and many of its members questioned the wisdom of an open rebellion due to the lack of arms and logistical support. However, after Bonifacio's intense and convincing speech, everyone destroyed their settlers to symbolize their defiance towards Spain and, together, raised the cry of revolt. Evidence. An officer of the Spanish Guardia Civil, Lieutenant Olegario Diaz, stated that the cry took place in Balintawak on August 25, 1896. Historian Teodoro Cala, in his 1925 book, The Filipino Revolution, wrote that the event took place during the last week of August 1896. At Cancon, Balintawak, Santiago Alvarez, a Katipunero and son of Mariano Alvarez, the leader of the Magdiwang faction in Cavite, stated in 1927 that the cry took place in Bahay Toro, now in Quezon City on August 24, 1896. Pio Valenzuela, a close associate of Andres Bonifacio, declared in 1948 that it happened in Pugad Lawn on August 23, 1896. Historian Gregorio Zaid stated in his books in 1954 that the cry happened in Balintawak on August 26, 1896. Fellow historian Teodoro Agoncillo wrote in 1956 that it took place in Pugadlan on August 23, 1896, based on Pio Valenzula's statement. Accounts by historians Milagros Guerrero, Emmanuel Encarnacion, and Ramon Villegas claim the event to have taken place in Tandang Sora's Barn in Gulad, Barangay Banla, Quezon City. Some of the apparent confusion is in part due to the double meanings of the terms Balintawak and Caloocan at the turn of the century. Balintawak referred both to a specific place in modern Caloocan and a wider area which included parts of modern Quezon City. Similarly, Caloocan referred to modern Caloocan and also a wider area which included modern Quezon City and part of modern Pasig. Pugadlan, Pasong Tamo, Kangkong, and other specific places were all in Greater Balintawak, which was in turn part of Greater Caloocan. Reference.